So let's start our introduction to differentiation. So we'll discuss the definition of differentiation, the formula, and we'll also discuss dependent and independent variables. So basically, differentiation is the process of finding the derivative. Oops, wait a second. We'll basically find the derivative of a function, but that's just a bit confusing. What basically the derivative of a function means is that we'll find the rate of change of a dependent variable with regards to an independent variable. So for example, if you have y as your dependent variable, you'll find its rate of change with respect to the change in x, which is the independent variable. So the formula to find the derivative of y, which is also equal to f of x, so basically a function of x with regards to x, is this. So what this basically means is the numerator over here is equal to dy, so which is all basically the change in x, the increment, and basically the increment of y over the increment of x. And when you apply the limit as delta x, or the increment of x, approaches 0, this is the complete formula for the derivative of y with respect to x. And later on you'll see what this really means, and let's discuss what dependent and independent variables are. So basically, a dependent variable is a variable whose value depends on that of another. So for example, y being a function of x means that y depends on the value of x. So the independent variable will be x, and an independent variable is a variable whose variation does not depend on that of another. It's independent. So here is an example. Y being a function of x means that x over here, you'll change the value of x, and that will basically affect the value of y. X is the input, y is the output, and y depends on the value of x. And another way of seeing what this really means is that an independent variable, let's say that you have this distance to travel. You have to get to this point, and you're starting at this point at which basically t is equal to 0. T is the independent variable and distance d is the dependent variable. So basically, as time progresses, you'll get closer and closer to this particular point. The distance between this point decreases as time increases. So basically, the distance d is a function of t being the independent variable and d being the dependent variable that relies on the value of t.